Good morning. And it is, what a lovely morning here. And it's fresh, it's not so hot. We've obviously had rain overnight, and now just this lovely, fresh, slight breeze. Son has got his hat on. I'm back in the square, obviously, at Alnwick, Northumbria, England. Sunday the 2nd of August, good Lord. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? It's 8:30. The reverb's back. No, daylight come, and he won't go home. Well, life goes on. Clearly the major event of this year, and probably the next decade, is going to be this COVID-19 stuff. Because it really is affecting the whole world and its ways, in so many ways, the which none of us could have foreseen, really, I suppose. Not in this worldwide way. I mean, they had Ebola, they knew about that, they'd had SARS out in the Far East, but that was all sort of contained very quickly, relatively, to the whole world, whereas this one seems to be just designed to spread as if... Now, here's an interesting thing. There's a passage in the Gospels, and Christ will come as a thief by night. That suddenly rang a bell. So it's as if people, apparently asymptomatic, so no symptoms, go here, there and everywhere, spreading this virus, this coronavirus, before they themselves actually are aware of it. Obviously, if you're sick, and especially now with all the coverage of this, you clearly stay at home. I mean, that's pretty self-evident, I think. So this mask wearing thing, well, I don't know. If you just watch how people actually behave, quite frankly, it's in a supermarket, or, I mean, there's quite a big Morrison's here in Alnwick. And the same at my little Iceland's in St Albans. The staff are not required to wear masks because they're sitting there all day long with this blasted mask on. Well, I mean, that's really rather arduous. So, it certainly made me creative. I've made a whole series of films. At last, I seem to be living in a world where God is sort of exerting his authority over us, mankind, his creation. Now, yesterday, I met a very charming older lady, probably late 60s, I think, retired. With a dog, and we got chatting and had a little beer together and so on. And then, lo and behold, another couple turned up, and the lady turned out to be a tertiary third order Franciscan with her husband, who, I'm pretty sure she was Anglican, whereas he was Glaswegian Roman Catholic. But the first lady I met, turns out, and why she had to tell me this, I've no idea, but they were having a bit of a girls' do for the birthday, and she just had to tell me they're lesbians. I mean, too much information, quite frankly. And then insisted that they don't do anything anyway, so I don't know. And she was a feminist, right? And her point, made very clearly, was that there's this Black Lives Matter. Well, obviously Black Lives Matter, but so do other people's lives, and that women have been stuffed throughout the world, throughout all the time, quite frankly, by men. Well, I'm not quite so sure about that. Women have a way of exerting their influence, especially within a married context. Us men, I think, actually are traumatized by women, in fact, as it happens. Me personally, in fact, but I mean, you can see it sometimes. You see this couple and the woman is wearing the trousers, albeit dressed in a skirt, but she's sort of leading the way. The poor henpecked husband is sort of, yes, dear, no, dear, yes, dear, absolutely, dear. So I'm not entirely sure about women not. Certainly in Africa, women very often do most of the actual hard work, and the men sit around drinking, smoking and drinking. I'm aware of that. The culture up here is very, you know, the men went down the mine, came home, gave her indoors the housekeeping, and then went off to the pub and drank the rest. I'm rather, well, that's sort of a, and the Welsh can be the same, and I think Yorkshire, I don't know, many cultures are like that, I think. But actually, it's the woman who, I mean, specifically, if they withhold their bodies, actually. They have this movement, don't they? The women say, no, no sex, that's it. And the men soon come to heel. Anyway, so that's my ramble. There's much trouble in the world, always has been, and I suppose always will be, until Christ comes again. I absolutely clearly see this coronavirus as a pestilence, as in the signs of the end of the age passages in Matthew, Mark and Luke, not in John. And God just doing this. Mankind, you know, wake up, I'm the boss. If people think they're the boss, I mean, to me it's so sad. Oh, this lady's completely doesn't believe in God. She's heard of him, obviously, and divorced, actually. So on several counts, I'm afraid, but we had a nice chat, you know. She was a researched human behaviour or something all around the world, been to Stornoway, been to other countries. So a highly intelligent, capable woman. I think she had one child and then divorced, presumably. But she was telling me, scientifically, it's provable that God doesn't exist. Brilliant. I had to come out with my absolute conviction that Christ is living within me now. And then this other couple turned up, and they thought I think it's Harold the Hermit. So up here somewhere there's a chap who's done what I'm sort of thinking of, which is started with nothing and then built up a place that welcomes ex-cons and I don't know, whatever, people on a pilgrimage or whatever. It is at that sort of site. I mean, I'm not in my monk's habit yet, my Christian tunic, but it's early on a Sunday morning. So it was sort of 3-1, I'm afraid, at that point. I mean, we didn't exactly attack her. We really had a super chat for a long time, an hour or so, I think, if not longer. All four of us, the older couple and this older lady and myself, I'm not so young. I'm 63, so there we are. But I mean, and I quite understand. I couldn't possibly kind of try and, well, let us see the light of Christ through me. But that's all I can do. I mean, I know what it's like. If anyone tries, specifically the old Jehovah's Witness, try and kind of ram their particular take on God down your throat, and I've had any number of kind of ultimately disagreements with them because they've got a particular take on things with which I utterly disagree. And I won't have them, the Jehovah's Witness types, ramming their particular interpretation. But then I'm not either a priest in the Church of England or a Benedictine monk. So I'm rejecting both of those large, and the largest in the world, the Roman Catholics, religious organizations of man, with which I could agree with this lady, quite frankly. What causes more trouble in the world than anything else probably is mankind's organized religion. So not just the Christians. In India it's Hindu and Muslim have an old argy-bargy in a pretty serious way, to the point of killing each other. And I think they both purport to be peaceful religions, as does Christianity. I mean, that's the whole point of why I'm in St. Albans. Alban saw the light of Christ through Amphibolus. He was a Roman centurion, so we believe, and obviously then had to stop killing. No doubt he would have been involved in killing the local citizens, and he had to stop. Knowing his fate would be martyrdom in whenever, early 200 AD. The day before, I'd met this chap who was about 10 years younger than me, so early 50s. And I think he was sort of escaping from a missionary college up in Scotland because he'd found them just, he wasn't comfortable with them. So he had all his worldly goods, which I've done too, so a big rucksack and 2 bags carrying everything, and he looked pretty stressed. I don't think he'd had anywhere proper to sleep for a while. And I know what that's like, because I've done it myself. So I kind of took him in under my wing for a few hours. But he pointed out, which I knew already, but he just pointed out that it's almost inevitable that Christians will suffer in this world because the world doesn't like us. I mean, I can see the passage now in one of the Gospels. Christ saying, the world will hate you in my name. But you must stand firm and continue. Never mind the beastly world. Strolling players. It really is a super morning. So, ramble. I've been mulling over for many years now to go out to the Holy Land again, and I was sort of thinking about it. I've looked it up, and I've got the money at the moment. Fly out on this Wednesday of this week, so I'm on the train down south on Tuesday, which is all booked and paid for. I've got 2 more nights in the hotel, but I just looked it up, but I'm not going to the Holy Land at the moment. It just doesn't feel right. But I really do perceive what's happening in the whole world now as God alerting mankind to the fact that we, mankind, of ourselves, are nothing before God. Amen. Amen. Beautiful morning. Sun's really bright. You can feel the warmth already.